You're welcome to techtalks.com, and we are still progressing with the organic chemistry, which I call a fundamental branch towards understanding of the chemistry of advanced level. We have finished looking at nomenclature of organic compounds, and now we are progressing to the types of organic compounds. It is important to note that we have got basically three types of organic compounds. We want to list them before we can look at them in details. Number one, the first type is aliphatic. Aliphatic compounds. Number two, we have aromatic compounds. Then number three, we have alicyclic compounds. Those are the major three types of organic compounds that we have. Now we can look at the details of each one of them. Yeah, of course, like we said, it is very important that we note spellings so much. Spellings are very, very important and fundamental to passing of this subject. Take an example. If somebody intended to write aliphatic and ended up writing aliphatic, that is something very different. And then it means it has a different meaning. So the word aliphatic should be Aloi. That is aliphatic. That is the right spelling of aliphatic. What are these aliphatic compounds? These aliphatic compounds could be hydrocarbons or could be heteroatoms, for as long as they are in chain form. As long as they are in chain form. They could be, let me say, not necessarily chain. They could be in a straight chain form. Or could be in branched chain form. Could be branched chain form. Those are what we refer to as aliphatic compounds. And the beauty of these aliphatic compounds is they are basically hydrocarbons, although some cases we shall further look at, of course now at the introduction of organic, we are not looking at further functional groups or further homologous series. We are first of all starting with the hydrocarbons. And these are basically hydrocarbons with a straight chain. For example, the straight chains could be CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3. That is a straight chain. And since yesterday we looked at nomenclature, then this becomes butane. Butane, because it has gotten 4 carbon atoms. That is an aliphatic compound in the form of a straight chain. Now we can also have an organic aliphatic compound like this with a straight chain. This one we will call it propane. Call it propane. We have so many cases. It can even have more than. It can even have more than. Or even infinity number of carbon atoms. But for as long as it is straight, it could be entirely horizontal, it could be entirely vertical, but there is no branching at all. we shall call it a straight chain aliphatic compound. And definitely this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. Therefore, we call it pentane. Call it pentane. Now, these straight chains do not only occur in the alkanes. They could be straight chains, but when they have a triple bond. They could be straight chains, but when they have a double bond. For as long as they don't contain a ring, we shall call them aliphatic compounds. Now, let us try to exhaust a few examples of aliphatic straight chain compounds, but with the double or triple bonds. Okay, could have an example like this. Example like that. Now, I want to say that this is not a chain, only that I'm trying to show that this double bond is between carbon and carbon. If you write it in this format, we shall not really accept it because here you are trying to show me that the double bond is between carbon and hydrogen, which is not the reality. I'm sure even a learner who writes this is not meaning this one. It's trying to mean carbon to carbon double bonds. But then your meaning is different and what you have written is also different. So we encourage that learners can have carbon-carbon double bonds and you spread the hydrogen outside. It can either go out, down or up. That one is not an issue, but we shall ensure it in that format. So that is now a straight chain alkene. And then we call it but. 2-ene. The 2 simply means that the double bond is on the second carbon. And remember we said according to the rules of nomenclature, the double bond should take the lowest number possible on the parent chain. So we can still proceed and have a straight chain with a triple bond. Straight chain with a triple bond. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. But it is straight, it doesn't have any branch. Besides, it is having a triple bond. So, this is an aliphatic compound because it is a chain. Secondly, it is a straight chain isomer or a straight chain aliphatic compound because it does not have any branching. It is horizontal, it is either vertical. So, this one gives me pent 2 ine. Pent 2 ine. However, all these examples have been horizontal. Somebody can still write a chain which is vertical like this. So we are saying that for as long as it doesn't have a branch, it is still an aliphatic straight chain isomer. This would still be but 2-ene. Right, we proceed. We say in part A, we have straight chain. Aliphatic compound. Then in part B, we also have what we call branched chain. Aliphatic compound. We also have them. Now, they are more like the straight, only that these possess a chain. It could be diversion upwards or downwards. But for as long as there is a diversion, then that is an aliphatic but a branched chain compound. An example could be CH3, CH, CH2, CH3. So in this case, we realize, well, there is a straight chain here. But on the straight chain, there is a branch down. That's where the word branched comes from. So we shall call this one a branched chain compound. Branched chain aliphatic compound. And then we call it 2-methyl butane. We call it 2-methyl butane. So the branching is not necessarily that it must possess only sigma bonds, but it's also possible that the compound, the total compound, could have some pi bonds. Yeah, either an alkene or an alkyne. So that is also a possibility. For example, we can have a compound like CH3 compound like that. So in a compound like that, it is having a side chain as well as having a double bond. So it is an aliphatic compound because it has no ring. Secondly, it is aliphatic branched chain compound because it has a branch. So therefore, this one, when we're naming it, we look at the position of the double bond and position, actually three things: name of the side chain, position of the side chain, position of the double bond. So that one introduces us to naming it as 2-methyl but 2-ene, whereby this 2 stands for the position of the double bond, this 2 stands for the position of the alkyl group, then methyl stands for the name of the alkyl group. So that is how we do name it. That is how we would name it. Okay, now that is the first discussed part under types of organic compounds, and that is basically only about aliphatic compounds.